Welcome to the DT Global Safeguards introduction video, where we look at what safeguarding means in practice. DT Global's work spans many countries, cultures, and communities. We provide support and services, we bring partners together, and we help shape decisions that affect people's lives and livelihoods. Our work gives us power and privilege. How? Because our choices matter. They shape lives, livelihoods, and the well-being of the people we work with and for. We often decide who gets support and who doesn't. Are opportunities reaching those who need them most? Who has access to services or to jobs? Are the infrastructure facilities we build or use accessible? Are they safe for girls and for vulnerable people? These are not small decisions, and they give us power. Where power exists, it can be misused. Sometimes, our personnel spend time alone with women, with children, and with others who are vulnerable. And if professional boundaries are not clear, abuse can happen, harassment can happen, discrimination can happen. So we must be clear about this. Where power exists, it can be misused. And when that happens in our work, the risk of harm is high. We need to have the right policies, procedures, codes of conduct, and training. Why? To keep people safe. This is called safeguarding. Safeguarding means just that, the things we do to keep people safe. In our work, DT Global and our partners must prevent certain behaviours that cause harm. When they happen, we call them safeguarding breaches. They go against DT Global's values. So what does that mean in practice? What are these negative behaviours? Let's keep it simple. The main behaviours are these: misuse of power, abuse or harassment in any form, any touch, words or actions of a romantic or sexual nature that are unwanted or unwelcome. These are the behaviours behind the official terms you may have heard. Terms like sexual exploitation, sexual abuse, sexual harassment, child abuse, exploitation, and modern slavery. But the message is clear. They all cause harm. They are never acceptable. And if we see them or hear them, we must act. We use these simple terms: misuse of power, abuse and harassment, unwanted or unwelcome behaviour, to make it easier for everyone to understand. And because we don't want anyone to hesitate to come forward. You don't need to know if something is called a child protection, PSEA, or modern slavery. You don't need to decide if it's exploitation, abuse, or harassment. What matters is simple. If you see something, hear something, or experience something that feels wrong, let us know. The details and definitions are for the people who handle the next steps. For you, it's enough to recognise when something isn't okay, and to come forward. DT Global has policies and procedures that cover the protection from sexual exploitation, abuse and harassment, or PSEA, child protection, and modern slavery in detail. You may have already read them, even signed them. But let's be honest. The wording can be very formal and sometimes hard to understand or connect with. To keep it simple, we're breaking down the key factors behind these harmful behaviours. Because when we understand these behaviours clearly, we can prevent them. And when we see them or hear them, we act. This is our responsibility as DT Global personnel. Misuse of power sits at the centre of many safeguarding breaches. It happens when someone uses their position or authority to take advantage of others. Think of it like this: vulnerability plus power difference equals higher risk of abuse and harm. And when that happens, we act. Abuse and harassment, whether it be physical or emotional, are behaviours that cross a line. They cause harm. They take away dignity. They take away safety. Here's a simple way to see it. Use of power plus crossing a line plus negative impact equals abuse and harm. And when that happens, we act. Unwanted or unwelcome behaviour can be words. It can be touch. It can be actions of a romantic or sexual nature. When a person says no or makes it clear they don't want something, that is unwanted. And even if they don't say no, but their body language, their silence, or their discomfort shows it's not okay, that is unwelcome. And remember, even if someone says it was just a joke or just being friendly, if the other person feels uncomfortable, it is not okay. Without clear consent, freely given, without pressure, the result can be sexual abuse or harassment causing harm, and that is against our policies. Put simply, unwanted or unwelcome behaviour, plus making someone feel unsafe or uncomfortable, plus ignoring boundaries equals harm. So what do these behaviours look like in practice? A manager pressuring someone who reports to them to go out on a date. That is misuse of power. A grants manager telling a grantee they must provide sexual favours to access funding. That is both misuse of power and unwanted sexual behaviour. A program officer hitting a child as punishment during an activity. That is abuse. A counterpart making repeated sexual jokes that leave your team uncomfortable. That is harassment. Trying to win a child's trust for sexual reasons is abuse, because a child can never give true consent. Having sex with someone who is drunk, unconscious, or very unwell. That is abuse, because they cannot give consent. A colleague sending repeated romantic text messages, even after being asked to stop. That is unwanted and unwelcome behaviour. We've now looked at the main types of safeguarding breaches. These behaviours are never acceptable. Safeguarding is about keeping people safe. You don't need the jargon. You don't need the labels. If something feels wrong, let us know. And together, we act. Safe choices, safe actions, safe people. This is safeguarding. This is DT Global.